any reputable provider is going to charge a fair amount of money for you to get somebody trained as a greenbelt. Right? It doesn't happen for free. There's no magic formula here. You can go cheap, take some sort of online class. In fact, I found an online class you could take, and for $99 and 8 hours of your time, you can become a Lean Six Sigma black belt. Yeah, it's a set of PowerPoint slides for $98 bucks. You go through them and you'll be certified as black belt. What we think of is it's not cheap, because it involves 10 days of training and facilitation from a very highly trained instructor. But if you look at the return on that investment, if you empower that employee to utilize the skills that they've gained in that class, the return on that investment is going to be enormous. Most of our clients, and these are their numbers, not mine, and it's coming from their finance people, not from the continuous improvement Lean Six Sigma team, it's coming from the finance people. Depending on what opportunities you select, we typically find a return of between 3 and 10 times your investment in the first year. In the first year. So if you decide you're going to invest $100,000 to make up a number on Lean Six Sigma training, you should reasonably expect that in the first year you'll get a return between $300,000 and $1 million. Now, part of that will be determined by what you pick to work on. If you pick almost exclusively cost issues or things that can tie directly to the P&L, you'll probably be towards the upper side of that. If you pick things that are more customer focused or employee focused, where it's difficult to tie it to the P&L, you'll probably be on the lower end. A lot of that rests with you in terms of what you identify. But most organizations that do this find that if they do it right, they do it properly. Training somebody is not sufficient to get the return. You have to empower them to go use the tools they've been given. You have to provide them with some resources and time to utilize those tools. There's no free lunch here. I'm not selling a free lunch. But if you invest in the training, and then you invest in that person and give them what they need to execute on what they now know how to do, most of our clients get between a 3 and a 10-fold return on their investment. Now, if I asked you personally, or as a business, if I could double your money in a year, how much of your money are you going to give me? All of it. If you don't say all of it, you're an idiot. In fact, the way this works in most companies is they will dip their toe in the water. Now, if you're a big company and you say $100,000, that's dipping your toe in the water. You know, you're a smaller company, maybe you send one person into greenbelt training. That's several $1,000s, and that's a big number to a small business. And then what they'll do is they'll let that person complete their Lean Six Sigma project. You may send in 1, 2, maybe 3 reviews. That's what the open enrollment seminars allow you to do at the college. They allow you to send those small numbers of people to dip your toe in the water. Give them 3 months, 6 months, whatever it takes for them to finish these projects, and look at what you got out of it. And what we find is most of our customers recognize, who do this properly, and they actually allow the people to do what needs to be done. The next time we hold an open enrollment class, there's not 1 person in there, there's 3 people from that company. The class after that, there's 6. And suddenly we're meeting with the leadership team and we're talking about how do we make this part of our culture. I don't need to convince leaders to do this, because the financial benefit to the organization takes care of that. And let me say that I think that's the #1 reason that Lean Six Sigma is the #1 continuous improvement methodology out there, because it speaks the language of the business. Because it's a project-based methodology, we can calculate what the value was to the business. Every business owner, every business leader speaks the language of the business, and that is the language of money. And if you do a project, and you do a project, you do a project, what did we get out of it? What did we get out of it? What did we get out of it? And what we do with our larger, long-term partners is we sit down at the end of the year and say, what did you put into it, and what did you get out of it? Well, we sunk this much money into Lean Six Sigma, and we got that much money out of it. Well, we put in $50,000 and we got out $420,000, or we put in $57,000, we got out $204,000. Or in our larger clients, they might put in $500,000, some of them do, and they get tens of millions of dollars out of it. We have clients right now that are seeing financial results reported by the finance. These are large companies in the tens of millions of dollars a year in terms of cost savings. That's just the cost savings. That's not the other side benefits. That's just the hard money on the P&L. You will get the return on investment if you do it properly.